The Dallas Cowboys cornerback situation heading into the new season feels like a mix of hope, uncertainty, and a dash of nostalgia. We're looking at a group that has talent. No doubt about that, but also some key questions that could shape the entire secondary for better or worse. And right now, one of the hottest names being floated around is none other than Stephon Gilmore. Yeah, that's right. The veteran corner who wore the star last season and quietly left a solid impression is once again being talked about as a potential fit in this evolving Cowboys secondary. And it's not just fans pulling names out of a hat here. There's some real smoke, even if it's only social media banner for now. Wayne Thomas, who's become one of those guys on Twitter that fans love because he's always willing to stir things up, tweeted out something that caught everybody's attention. He mentioned having a great conversation with Gilmore, and Gilmore responded, which, of course, sent Cowboys Nation into a mini frenzy. Look, we've all seen how cryptic social media interactions can become fuel for rumors, and in this case, it's easy to connect the dots. Wayne Thomas tags Gilmore, Gilmore replies, and suddenly people are talking about a reunion in Dallas. It's not hard to see why. Gilmore has always shown a certain comfort in Dallas. He didn't want to leave in the first place, and he'd fit a very clear and very immediate need. This is a Cowboys team that could absolutely use a reliable veteran presence at corner, especially with some of the uncertainty they're facing due to injuries. Trayvon Diggs is still working his way back from that knee injury, and while there's optimism, the timeline isn't totally clear. Josh Butler is still recovering from an ACL tear, and Savion Redmond, another promising piece, is in the middle of his own comeback journey. So when you look at the current depth chart, yeah, there are young players with upside, but none with the kind of proven, big game experience that Gilmore brings. Now, do I think the Cowboys are actively negotiating something with Gilmore as we speak? Probably not. It feels like they're content to wait, at least until the first week or two of training camp. Let the younger guys get reps, evaluate how the health of the room shapes up, and then decide if they need to pull the trigger on a vet like Gilmore. That said, this is exactly the kind of move that could happen quickly if things go south early in camp or during joint practices with the Rams. If one or two injuries pop up, or if a couple of these guys don't perform as expected, bringing in Gilmore would immediately stabilize things. And here's the thing, Gilmore doesn't need to be an all-pro anymore to be valuable. Even at this stage of his career, he's still a savvy corner with great instincts, solid tackling ability, and the kind of leadership you want in a locker room. He wouldn't just be a plug-and-play piece on the field, he'd be a mentor to younger guys like Wayne Thomas, Savion Redmond, and even help elevate someone like Israel Mukuamu, who might be shifting roles depending on injuries and roster needs. Speaking of injuries, Nick Harris put out some really interesting insight into the state of the cornerback room, and it's worth diving into what he laid out, especially when it comes to Trayvon Diggs. According to Harris, there's a realistic chance that Diggs could be cleared in time for Week 1. That would obviously be a massive boost for the Cowboys, especially considering the playmaker Diggs has proven to be when he's healthy. But Harris also made it clear that the more likely scenario is that Diggs starts the year on injured reserve and misses the first 4 games, and honestly, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. If you told me right now that Diggs would miss just 4 games and be back by Week 5, I'd take that in a heartbeat. That's manageable. Diggs has always had that ball hawk reputation. Yeah, there are times when the tackling leaves something to be desired. That's fair criticism. But the guy makes plays on the football. You can't just replace that, whether or not he ever hits those insane 2021 numbers again. The presence of a player like Diggs forces offenses to think twice. And when you combine that with a pass rush that still figures to be one of the better units in the league, you have the makings of a defense that can win games. But if Diggs isn't ready to go early in the season, who steps in? That's where it gets interesting. We're talking about players like Darren Bland and Kyle Elam, both of whom are expected to start regardless. Bland had a breakout year and looks like the real deal. Elam, after struggling to find his footing with Buffalo, now gets a fresh start in Dallas, and sometimes that's all a player needs. But beyond those two, it's wide open. Nick Harris listed for guys he considers safe bets to make the roster, not including the injured players. That group includes Bland, Elam, Mukuamu, and Redmond. And Redmond's situation is particularly intriguing. He's got all the measurables: size, speed, athleticism, and was having a solid camp last year before suffering that ACL tear. The Cowboys like his potential, but the question is how soon he'll be cleared. The team might go cautious, start him on the PUP list, and work him back slowly. But there's optimism that he'll be good to go at some point during training camp. Redmond's story is one of those great underdog tales. He wasn't even on the radar not long ago, grinding through Amazon warehouse night shifts before fighting his way into college football, and eventually earning a shot in the NFL. That kind of hunger shows, and while he's still raw and developing, there's a real possibility he could grow into a contributor by mid-season. Whether that means earning snaps as a nickel corner or rotating into specific packages, his athletic profile makes him worth investing in. Then you've got Israel Mukuamu, a guy who's bounced around between safety and corner, but has shown flashes of playmaking ability every time he gets on the field. He was an outside corner in college and played well in that role, so shifting back to that spot makes some sense, especially with injuries forcing flexibility. Harris even noted that Mukuamu could be a starter early on if Diggs and Redmond aren't ready. He's a versatile defender who always seems to pop when given the chance, and this might be the opportunity he's been waiting for. But don't sleep on some of the other names battling for depth chart spots. Kallon Barnes, the day 3 pick from last year, had a rough go in his rookie season and is coming off a shoulder injury. Still, he has youth and potential on his side, and Harris hinted that if he had to pick a 5th guy to make the roster, Barnes would be it. He's got to step up in a big way during camp, but the path is there. Then there are players like Kemen Hall and Robert Rochelle, both of whom have special teams experience that could give them an edge when the final roster decisions are being made. And look, when it comes to the 6th cornerback slot, assuming the Cowboys keep that many, special teams play might be the deciding factor. Hall was a dark horse candidate to make the team last year before getting hurt, and Rochelle has logged plenty of snaps on special teams during his career. If the coaching staff values that contribution enough, one of them could sneak onto the roster, and Drew Booth Jr., on the other hand, might be running out of time. Unless he shows significant improvement, it's hard to see him making the cut, especially as he's adjusting to a 3rd defensive coordinator in just over a year. One way or another, this cornerback room is going to look different than it did last season. Between the injuries, the young guys needing to take a step forward, and the looming possibility of a veteran signing like Stephon Gilmore, this position group might be one of the most fluid on the entire roster, and that's saying something. It feels like every training camp has one spot where things go off script, where injuries or surprise performances shake up the depth chart. Right now, cornerback feels like that position. So, Cowboys Nation, the question really becomes, what would you do if you were calling the shots? Would you bring back Stephon Gilmore now, secure the veteran depth early, and eliminate the uncertainty, or do you let it ride? Give the younger guys their chance and see what you've got before pulling the trigger. This team isn't short on talent in the secondary, but it's walking a fine line between potential and vulnerability, and that balance could define how this defense performs in the early stretch of the season. Whether it's Gilmore coming back, Diggs returning in Week 1 or Week 4, or one of the younger guys like Mukuamu or Redmond stepping up, someone is going to have to rise to the moment, because this Cowboys team has serious aspiration, and to live up to them, that cornerback room needs to be more than just adequate. It needs to be a strength. The pieces might be there. Now it's just a matter of how they fall into place. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Breaking news is stirring up the NFL world, especially in Dallas, where whispers are growing louder about a potential blockbuster signing that could reshape the Cowboys' defense for the 2025 season. Rumors have been circulating that C.J. Mosley, the standout linebacker who had previously announced his retirement, is reconsidering his decision and might be making a sensational comeback, this time donning the iconic Dallas Cowboys uniform. Sources close to the team suggest that negotiations are well underway, and the Cowboys are aggressively pursuing Mosley to take the reins of their defense. Known for his leadership, instincts, and relentless play on the field, Mosley could be the exact piece Dallas needs to elevate its defensive unit to elite status. If the deal goes through, it would mark a significant shift for both Mosley and the Cowboys, potentially turning the defense into one of the most feared in the league. The news has sent shockwaves through the NFL community, with fans and analysts alike speculating on how this move would impact the Cowboys' chances in the coming season. Mosley's return would not only bring veteran experience, but also a fresh sense of energy and discipline that Dallas's defense has struggled to maintain in recent years. His ability to read offenses and make critical plays could be a game changer, especially against high-powered rival offenses. While nothing is confirmed yet, insiders report that talks have been positive and that Mosley's interest in returning to the gridiron is genuine. The linebacker's initial retirement announcement left many questioning if he was truly done with football. But the allure of competing again, and doing so in a franchise with championship aspiration, appears to be reigniting his passion. The Cowboys front office has reportedly been pushing hard to finalize the agreement before the offseason truly kicks off. Bringing in Mosley would signal a major statement of intent from Dallas, showing the team's commitment to rebuilding a dominant defense and making a serious run for the Super Bowl. Of course, signing a player of Mosley's caliber also comes with its risks, including salary cap considerations and how quickly he can integrate into the Cowboys' defensive schemes. Still, the buzz surrounding this potential acquisition is undeniable, with many experts predicting that if the deal happens, it could tip the scales in favor of Dallas in the highly competitive NFC. As the offseason unfolds, all eyes will remain fixed on Dallas, waiting for official confirmation or denial. Until then, the rumor mill continues to churn, fueling hopes and debates among Cowboys fans eager for a resurgence. Could C.J. Mosley be the defensive leader Dallas has been desperately seeking? Only time will tell. But the possibility alone has already electrified the NFL landscape. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.